A very good afternoon. You're watching Newsx and I'm Shivani Singh. A tragic hit-and-run case has emerged from West Delhi's Janakpuri, when a fast-moving car struck the e-rickshaw that a grandmother and her child were actually travelling in, causing it to flip in Delhi's Janakpuri on Tuesday morning. A 6-year-old girl was killed and her grandmother was injured. The elderly woman has now said that nobody stopped to help her as she begged for help while her granddaughter lay covered in blood. Police said that the driver of the car was heading to work at the time of the crash and has been apprehended. The girl was travelling to school with her grandmother, Mercy Xavier, when the incident took place near Block C in Janakpuri. The grandmother alleged that she pleaded with the car driver present at the scene to help take the girl to the hospital, but the person left without assisting. She added that she could not confirm whether it was the same vehicle involved in the collision, and the child's mother, who works at a hospital, said that she received a call from her mother after the accident. Let me in fact go across to my colleague Manohar Kesri, who's joining us live from the location where this tragic incident took place in Janakpuri. मनोहर, ये बहुत ही दुखद घटना है जो सामने आ रही है. आप हमें वो लोकेशन बताइए जहाँ पर ये एक्सीडेंट हुआ, जहाँ से ये जो ग्रैंडमदर थी अपने बच्ची को लेके जा रही थी स्कूल के तरफ.
देखिए, बिल्कुल ये दर्दनाक घटना थी, क्योंकि द्वारका हिट रन के बाद जो है ये दूसरी घटना मंगलवार को घटी और मैं जनकपुरी सी ब्लॉक के पास फायर स्टेशन का जो दफ्तर है वहाँ पर मौजूद हूँ. और ये जो चौराहा आप देख रहे हैं, ये चौराहा इस घटना का गवाह है, क्योंकि यहीं पर सुबह मंगलवार करीब 7:30 बजे की घटना है, जब ई-रिक्शा पे सवार बच्ची अपनी दादी के साथ, नानी के साथ जा रही थी, तो एक कार आता है और हिट करके चला जाता है. लेकिन सबसे दुखद बात यह है कि उस समय यहाँ के लोगों की इंसानियत जो है सो गायब हो गई थी. उसकी दादी लगातार ड्राइवर से भीख मांगती रही कि इसे अस्पताल पहुँचा दिया जाए, मदद मांगती रही, लेकिन उसे मदद नहीं मिली और वो बच्ची अब इस दुनिया में नहीं है. लेकिन क्या इस तरह की घटनाएं जो रोड रेज की होती है, हिट रन के मामले होते हैं, तो इंसानियत कहाँ खो जाती है? ये सबसे बड़ा सवाल है. गलती भी है और सीनाजोरी भी हो रही है, क्योंकि यहाँ पर कई दुकानदार भी हैं जो यहाँ दुकान लगाते हैं. इनसे भी हम बात एक बार करने की कोशिश करते हैं कि जब मंगलवार की घटना घटी थी, इधर आ जाइए, आप लोग कहाँ?
नहीं, हम तो भैया सुबह सुबह आए रही थे. हाँ, हमारे को तो जानकारी यहाँ के पता लगी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया बच्चे को.
और ये घटना यहीं पर घटी थी,
वहाँ
चौराहे पे घटी थी. इन लोग सुबह नहीं था, सुबह का वक्त होता है, बच्ची स्कूल जा रही थी दादी के साथ और यहीं पर ये घटना घटी. और हालांकि पुलिस का ये कहना है कि पुलिस ने उस ड्राइवर को गिरफ्तार कर लिया है. और लेकिन जिस तरह से घटना घटी, ये एक अपने आप में सवाल है. न्यूज़ लगातार इस सवाल का उठा रहा है, चाहे द्वारका की घटना हो और अब ये जनकपुरी की घटना हो.
जी बिल्कुल मनोहर, इनफैक्ट मैं देख पा रही हूँ कि जहाँ आप प्रेजेंट है और जहाँ पर ये एक्सीडेंट हुआ है वो कोई आइसोलेटेड रोड तो नहीं है. वहाँ पर आपने दिखाया कि शॉप्स भी लगी हुए हैं और इनफैक्ट आपके पीछे के तरफ वहाँ पर पार्किंग भी है ई रिक्शास की, जिसमें वो ग्रैंडमदर और उनकी जो बच्ची थी वो ट्रैवल भी कर रही थी. उनसे बात करिए कि 7:30 बजे सुबह में ये स्कूल जाने का टाइम रहता है, ऑफिस जाने का टाइम रहता है, और जैसे कि आप कह रही थी वो मदद की गुहार लगा रही थी, बट कोई सामने नहीं आया.
देखिए, बिल्कुल एक बार फिर से मैं यहाँ के लोगों से बात करना चाहूँगा, लेकिन इलाका आपको दिखा दूँ. ये चौराहा है जहाँ घटना घटी. एक तेज़ रफ्तार गाड़ी ने इस रिक्शे को टक्कर मारी, क्योंकि उसकी नानी के मुताबिक काफ़ी धीरे धीरे ये रिक्शा जा रहा था और उसकी दादी उसे स्कूल पहुंचाने जा रही थी उस बच्ची को, और वो पीछे से आकर के टक्कर मारता है और बच्ची वहीं पर बुरी तरह से घायल हो जाती है, दम तोड़ देती है। लेकिन यहाँ आप देखिए कि लगातार जो है सो गाड़ियाँ लगी रहती है, यहाँ पर इंस्टीट्यूट भी है। लेकिन जब सुबह 7, सवा 7, साढ़े 7 बजे की घटना है, तो ऐसे में आप देखिए कई ई रिक्शा वाले यहाँ पर हैं और इनसे हम बात करेंगे, दुकानदार से भी बात करेंगे कि आखिरकार उस वक्त इन लोग कहाँ थे जब घटना घटी थी। बात करेंगे यहाँ पर मंगलवार को जो घटना घटी थी, एक ई रिक्शा में कार टक्कर लगी और बच्ची की डेथ हो गई। आप लोग थे यहाँ पर
किस टाइम?
मंगलवार को?
नहीं, हम नहीं थे।
आपको पता है इस घटना के बारे में?
नहीं, हमें नहीं पता।
सामने
नहीं, हमें पता ही नहीं। हम 11:30 बजे आते हैं, हमें उसके पहले बात होगा यहाँ हमें।
उस वक्त सुबह में भीड़ भाड़ तो रहती होगी?
नहीं, इतनी नहीं होती यहाँ पे, नॉर्मल होती है। स्कूल की वजह से थोड़ा बहुत जाम फाम कोई हो जाए तो हो जाए ना, यहाँ पे कोई भीड़ भाड़ नहीं होती थी।
नहीं होती क्योंकि सड़क तो चलती हुई है।
चलती है, वो लाल बत्ती नहीं है, उस वजह से थोड़ा सा जाम लग जाता कभी। वैसे तो यहाँ कोई परेशानी कोई नहीं होती। हमें यहाँ 35 साल हो गए लगाते, आज तक कोई ऐसी घटना कोई नहीं हुई है।
अब
पता नहीं है, मैंने देखी ही नहीं है साहब, मैंने नहीं देखी। मैं क्या
तो है
नहीं, आज मैंने आपके मुंह सुना है, मैंने सुना भी नहीं है।
ये सुने नहीं, लेकिन दूसरे दुकानदार से हमने बात की तो दूसरे दुकानदार का ये कहना था कि ठीक घटना उधर घटी है, चलती हुई सड़क है, लगातार जो है सो यहाँ पर सुबह में भीड़ भाड़ रहता है, लोग अपने बच्चों को स्कूल लेकर के जाते हैं। तो ये एक सबसे बड़ा सवाल है कि अगर इस तरह के हिट एंड रन और तेज़ रफ्तार की गाड़ियाँ अगर चलेगी तो लोग अपने बच्चों को कैसे पहुँचाएंगे स्कूल, और जिस माँ की बेटी, जिस दादी
जी
की
बिल्कुल मनोहर, आप हमारे साथ इनफैक्ट बने रहें, आप वहाँ के लोगों से भी बात करें, हम आपके पास वापस आएंगे। ऑल्सो ज्वाइनिंग अस on this discussion is Ellen Rao, former DCP Delhi, Varad Dwivedi, who is an advocate, Supreme Court, and Tahira Hassan, social activist. Thank you all for joining us on the broadcast to discuss this further. But let me first go across to Mr. Ellen Rao on this. Sir, this is a very tragic incident coming to light. We are seeing time and again very frequent incidents of road accidents, of speeding vehicles going ahead, causing accidents, and then just running away. This is another case that we are seeing in Janakpuri now. Do you believe that we need more stringent laws, because when we have a speeding or a death due to a rash and negligent driving, it comes under bailable offences. Do you think that we need to make sure that there are more stringent laws so that people drive carefully?
Good afternoon, Vaniji, and to my co-panelists and to all your viewers. Really, this is another a very sad incident and shocking incident also. No doubt, in BNS, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, recently adopted by the our government in 2023, some sort of strictness in this offence of rash and negligent driving causing death on the road has been done, because earlier this case was under the IPC of 279/304A, which was also available, but in that case maximum punishment was 2 years. Now in this case has been now in BNS it has been changed to maximum sentence of 5 years, and still it is bailable. This is how this I think this 5 years punishment should be made non-bailable, and in that is section 1061 BNS, and there was one section 1062 BNS in which it was mentioned that if somebody runs away from the spot after committing such accident and death of a person, then this section was non-bailable, was created as non-bailable, and maximum punishment was 10 years. That shows that hit and run cases, if the person kills someone on the road while negligent driving or rash and negligent driving, then run away from the spot without telling the police or without sending this person to the hospital, then in this case the punishment was prescribed for 10 years. But due to some agitation by the truckers or some truck unions or some other stakeholders, this provision of 1062.2 was kept withheld. Till now it has been held in abeyance, and this was more deterrent, because in hit and run cases, if somebody runs away from the spot without taking the injured person to the hospital, that was considered to be a more serious crime. So I think that that section should be there, but I don't know, under the pressure of these truck unions, the government withheld it. But at the same time, I must also tell you that there is a public apathy in this regard. The public doesn't want to help in the person who is injured, because as per your version or the statement of the from the sport from your correspondent, that woman was crying for help to save her niece, but nobody came forward, and that poor small girl died at the spot. It is stated right like that. So the public should also come forward to help the injured person, to send her to the hospital immediately, because as per the doctors, if the person injured during an accident has been sent to the hospital within half an hour, there are chances of survival of that person. But because during that period the treatment can be done, and the more excess bleeding can be stopped. But in this case, I think that because of this accident, excess bleeding was there at the spot, and she died at the spot. This is the reason, and you are right that there should be some stringent law. The law should be stringent, and more particularly if this 5 years punishment, even in 1061 BNS, that section should be made non-bailable. That will have a long-lasting effect, because there will be there will be something, some fear in the mind of the person who has committed this accident, that he can be arrested and his bail will be not given by the police, and that it will be some sort of difficulty in getting the bail. And more particularly, the judges also are aware that if somebody doesn't want to stop at the accident spot and do not carry that injured to the hospital, then during trial, this is also considered to be a serious offence, and there is no leniency given by the judge to that accused person while during trial. This is also one of the factors. Shivani.
Absolutely. In fact, let me also rope in Mr. Dwivedi on this because he's an advocate. So when we look at such incidents, do you believe that because of the lack of stringent rules, we are seeing such incidents occur frequently on the streets in Delhi, in the country as well? People speed and they get away with it.
Shivani ji, first of all, I must say this is a very unfortunate incident, and it is very nerve-wracking when the grandmother of that 6-year-old kid was narrating her ordeal of the said incident, where she was drowned in the pool of blood. It is very disheartening at the same time. And but in my opinion, I must say there are three major causes and three major factors of such type of incident where life could be saved, but it was not the case this time. Reckless driving is one of the major factor, because these days you are seeing that on road people have a very ego-driven driving skill set and mod on their mind. And if you go behind a vehicle, and if you even press your horn for a single time, or even if you give a dipper asking for a pass, so they do not let you pass the vehicle, or they do not let you move ahead of them. It is very unfortunate witnessing all these incidents. And moreover, there is a very poor enforcement of traffic safety laws. I must say the government agencies, the traffic police is also at the very high staked thing that this should have been implemented in a better manner. And of course, there is a very important point which I must press, that societal hesitation is also there. Nobody these days wants to help an injured person or a person who is suffering from such a incident where a life could have been saved, but in such cases nobody steps forward to save a life. There are laws, there are schemes which has been run by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways itself. There is a Good Samaritan law, there is a scheme where a person will be awarded nearly 25,000 rupees if he report and try to save a life in such type of incident. Per incident, and that is per incident amount. But there is no such awareness of these type of good Samaritan laws or these schemes which government bring in a very regular manner. There is no efforts from the side of government as well to publicize, to motivate the public at large that such law is there, and they should not worry about reporting such incidents or taking the victims of accident to the hospitals. So I must say this: yes, the implementation of laws need to be stricter, and the awareness of the laws which saves a person from getting roped up in such type of liabilities, where a person think, if I'll take a injured person to the hospital, I'll get myself roped in some criminal case. There are laws protecting such type of people. People must be aware of that, and government has the whole sole responsibility to aware those peoples.
Absolutely. Let me in fact rope in Shobal Singh, who's also joining us on the broadcast as a social activist. Thank you so much for giving your time to Newsx and discussing this very tragic incident that has occurred in Janakpuri. But ma'am, if I can come to you, we are seeing or witnessing this lack of empathy in the society. We had our other panelists who are stating that maybe they are afraid of the laws, but over here we had a grandmother. She was okay, she was just injured. There was no sort of a criminal thing that they could be involved in. We had a guardian who could in fact take care of the child if they would have taken her to the hospital, but she lay there and nobody came forward to help her, ma'am. Why do you think is this happening in our society?
You're very insensitive, Shivani.
I think good afternoon, Shivani ji.
All right, ma'am, we'll come back to you. There is some issue with your network connection. If you could fix that, we'll come to you. But let me also rope in Tahira Hassan, who's a social activist who's joined us on the broadcast as well. Tahira, ma'am, when we are looking at this very tragic incident, we are seeing the grandmother crying out for help and nobody coming forward to help. In fact, there was a person with a vehicle who was there, but he refused to help and then later on left from that area.
This is a moral collapse. People just make these incidents when happen, whether women are raped, then too people make the video, and the reel, and they don't bother to intervene and protect the girl or women, whatever. If they are crying, then too they don't. There's such an insensitive society. What kind of society it is, and what kind of civil society it is, it is not sensitive at all. No humanity, nothing is that. Always we put everything on the others. They should do it. They only make the video, but they can't just intervene to protect the child. I think you are talking about I'm outside actually, 6-year-old child who died in accident.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Imagine. So people did not help. But other thing is this, that what about our traffic laws? Are they made to protect the innocent, or are they made to just make these criminals to kill the innocent and go away? If they can't, protect the 6-year-old, most innocent person, what they are doing, what the laws are for? They should be implemented properly on the ground level. If they are not implemented, the person will commit heinous crime and get away, because there is no fear of the law. Very strong laws are in our head, I always say, but they are not implemented. If they will not be implemented, there will be no fear of the law. And this the kind of incidents we are just debating for last 3-4 days. People are dying. Somewhere mother is crying, somewhere grandmother is crying. What is this? What these traffic laws are there? For what? Innocent life worth nothing? I mean, what is happening? I don't know the person has been arrested or not. The person should also be arrested immediately.
Yes.
Otherwise, these laws will not act as a deterrent, you know.
Absolutely, ma'am. In fact, let me also rope in Shobhal Singh on this before. Ma'am, obviously, where are we heading towards? This is something, the society, everyone is taught that you should help others, and in times of needs, during an accident, a 6-year-old child, ma'am, lay there in a pool of blood, a grandmother seeking help, and nobody came forward to help.
I think the main cause, what we've been seeing, we've been noticing and seeing a lot of these incidents happening, a lot of these accidents happening, where time and again we come face to face with the fact that I think people feel so scared. They, as Dvedish ji said, that that people are not aware about their, when they help someone. It's not that they will be implicated or they will, the police will go after them. That will not be the case. It's mostly that fear of not helping, because they feel that they will also get involved in the entire web of things. And this awareness is very important, because then that's the reason why people don't come out and help. In fact, there's so many incidents I know personally that people will not come across as being humans. They would rather feel that they should be kept safe. That maybe if they go to the police, then their name will come, and then the police will harass them. So I think that needs to be, like, people need to be made very aware about that these incidents where we are losing people, especially today we saw that a 6-year-old girl, she's so young, her grandmother obviously must have been very aged. She would want help from people around her. And as we noticed that a man who was crossing by and he did not help the child, and the grandmother was just sitting there waiting for help. I think the main reason is that we need people to be more aware that they will never get crucified for things which are not their doing. I mean, they're just helping people out. And this should be made very boldly clear to people. And a lot of awareness camps need to be done, revolving around this. I think this is very, very important. As a socialist, as an activist, I would say that.
Absolutely. In fact, let me again rope in Mr. Rao into this discussion. Mr. Rao, what do you think is the solution for this? Apart from the awareness campaign, where we can seek people and we can make them aware about their responsibilities as citizens, as fellow human beings, what other things, what other measures can we take for road safety, for such hit and run cases to not take place again?
Yes, ma'am. There are so many solutions in this regard, which have been enumerated so many times earlier also. Number one is that the drivers who are driving these vehicles on the road, they must be well qualified in driving sense, and their test should be definitely, it should be very stringent test, because they can get these driving licenses even on the payment of some rupees without knowing the driving tactics. That is more important. The transport department should be very strict while granting the licenses of these people. So many people also drive vehicles without license. That is also one of the major things. That responsibility of the enforcement department of traffic. They should keep on chalaning, keep on heavily enforcing this law that no person should be found driving without license. Number three is that the people, the drivers must be aware that overspeeding, because earlier there was some instructions of Honorable Supreme Court of India that in 4 categories, licenses of the drivers who are found involved in these 4 categories. Number 1 is over speeding. Number 2, red light jumping. Number 3, talking on mobile phone while driving. And number 4 is red light jumping. These categories are definitely very strict, and mainly the fatal accidents occur only because of these things: overspeeding, red light jumping, talking over the phone, and that is 1/4 was the lane changing. That lane changing is also one of the major aspects. Everybody should drive in lane. That can be only done when the drivers are well qualified and well versed with the traffic laws. And the enforcement department should keep on checking on them. If there is something wrong, then definitely that person should be heavily penalized, because the traffic rules have now the Motor Vehicle Act has been amended, and there are heavy fines imposed on these persons. And then a number of most important aspect is that the traffic police is facing problem in tracing this, getting the challans, challans be paid on time. But so many people don't pay the challan even in the court, even at the sport, and they want to get away with that. Recently, you might have seen that the Scorpio vehicle were having 13 challans pending against it. That is also reason. Not only this Scorpio vehicle, there are so many other vehicles also. They are being challaned, but the challans are not properly implemented by the owners. So that is also one thing that that speaks that they don't have fear in their mind about the law enforcement agencies. That should be some device should be arranged, that people should have a feeling of fear in their mind, that if they violate the traffic rules, if they don't obey the orders of the traffic police, then definitely they will have to face the music at the spot immediately. Without they cannot be escaped from the challans or any penal actions against them if they violate any rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
There are so many other things also
Absolutely.
that those
Absolutely.
should be taken care of.
Right, sir. In fact, let me also get in a word from Mr. Dwivedi on this. Mr. Dwivedi, obviously there seems, like Mr. Rao pointed out, there seems to be a lack of fear. There are challans pending, people do not, they go unnoticed, people are not really held responsible for it. What do you think is the next step to make sure that our roads are safer?
Shivani ji, Mr. Rao said a word on very, several times he said a word which is implementation. There is a lack of implementation which we are facing, our nation is facing, and till the time the law is not enforced and implemented in a proper manner, there will be no fear of law and there will be no control of incidents, I must say. There is there are many things which occurs on road on a daily basis. There are very peculiar and petty offences like road changing, the lane changing. The lane changing is actually an offence in some areas of Delhi NCR, but it is totally restricted to some areas only. It is not covered throughout the Delhi NCR or the other parts of India, and it must be made an offence to change the lane, because as you see there are several accidents which occurs place because of this rash and negligent driving and rash and negligent overtaking. Overtaking basically happens when you change your lane in a very rash manner. So these are also major type of contributors which results in such incidents which took place as we are discussing. And we would have not discussed, we would have not debated, and it would have not been a debate from a very long time, since very long. I don't remember a time from my childhood where I have not come across with such type of incidents and such type of failure of the enforcement agencies. What the traffic police is doing, I'm very sorry, Mr. Rao is a very senior bureaucrat here. But again, what the traffic police or what the law enforcement agencies are doing, it is very unfortunate that you do not witness these days many of officers, dispensing their duties on the roads or the crossroads or any places where a police personnel or a traffic police personnel is needed these days. We have quoted, we have said that Mr. Rao has rightly indicated that this is the matter which attracts 281 BNS, which is for the rash and negligent driving, or 106 BNS, which is of course for the rash and negligent driving, but which is resulted in causing a death. It also attracts 125 BNS, which is also acting in a danger, in a manner which endangers life and safety of others.
Right.
But at the same time, will this help us? Will such law help us without any implementation or enforcement?
Right.
So this is.
I apologize for interrupting you, sir, but